Welcome to part 2 of building a new villager trading hall for my Minecraft hardcore world. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure to do so. If you want to see me transform this into this, then stay tuned. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I have to say that would be the best Christmas gift ever. So head on down there and click that subscribe button. Thanks, enjoy the video. Alright, so now that we're done with the area, we can start building the buildings that are actually going to go down here. So the first building is going to be the main building, and then from there, from where the entrance is, I'm going to have a pathway going to the end over there. The main building is going to be a library. So what I'm trying to do here is kind of make like a dome around the back. Okay, I do think that'll be enough. I think that'll be big enough, but I'm going to expand it out a little bit more. So right now I'm just kind of filling in the floor. What is going on there? Anyway, we're gonna add a porch to the front here, so this is gonna be our porch. I then spent like the next 10 minutes increasing the height of the walls. I went back to my base to kill some cows because I knew I was gonna need a lot of leather. Entrance. This is going to be our main greeter. And then I got to figure out how I want to put these bookshelves. I made the spots where the villagers are going to be voluntarily stuck. So I can't find a definitive answer saying how many books there are in Minecraft that villagers can trade. I read that it said 38, but that was in 2021, so I'm a bit skeptical about that. 6, 7, 8. We have 28 right now. There's 5 more, so now we have 33. I was trying to figure out how to trap the villagers in that spot, and then I realized I need lecterns still. But I didn't realize that for a while, so I decided to go ahead and start marking out where the bookshelves are going to go. And then I started to build the second floor. Got the second floor done. Well, the layer of it for the ring at least. We're gonna make more villager trading spots here. Alright, well the rest of this is just gonna be bookshelves. I'm not gonna put any more villagers. So I think we'll go up 2 and then we'll start to curve the dome in. Starting to see the 2012 builds come out. This looks like crap right now. It's alright, we're gonna trust the process and then we'll get there. I built the clock, tore it down, then rebuilt it. Alright, that looks a little bit more reasonable. Gonna perpetually be, we'll make it 3 o'clock, and then what we're gonna do with this, and break it up a little bit, I'm gonna use actual logs, and we're just gonna strip them all. And this is where I realized I needed lecterns. I also made myself an axe with silk touch on it so I could get my bookshelves easier. Well, one thing I completely forgot about is that this is supposed to be a villager trading hall, so they're gonna need their things. I decided to be humane and give the villagers some windows to look out. If they're going to be trading me all these OP books, they better be getting their vitamin D. I'll build it kind of like this. Might add some more design to it. I finished up the design around the library. Okay, I think it's time to work on the dome. Then I started to work on the dome. Once the dome was done, I built a chandelier. Okay, I think the dome is done. Now what I can do is adjust the clock, because that roof needs to be done. We're just going to go straight across here. Okay, alright. Alright, that's starting to be something. I built a roof for the wings. Hated it. Wow, that looks stupid. And then I rebuilt it. Alright, well I think I went a little overboard on this library. Kinda what I wanted. I think it kinda looks weird. I think the clock just makes it look weird. I'm not really entirely sure how to fix it. I tried to fix it with the signs, but it doesn't really work. Anyway, so this is the library. I'm done with it. I think that's what I'm gonna do with this video. Once I finish a build, I'll go through it, show you all of it, because if I don't, then it's just gonna be me having to show you me building every single one, and that's just not going to work for the video. So I'll just give you a tour. So out here is the little thing where you can tie your horses off, give them some water. Nothing really too special outside. I did add some seats right here with some windows looking in. And once you come in here, you can talk to the concierge, which that's going to be the last thing we're going to do in this video, is get the villagers over here. There's going to be a lot of villagers. So here's the library. Walk in, there's all the villagers that you're going to have to be able to find. I don't know how I'm going to label these guys, and I really didn't think about it. Here's the upstairs, same thing. There's just going to be more villagers over here. Same on that side. And then just some more books. And I couldn't figure out how to cover the clock from behind, so that's just kind of what I did, because that just seems like something a library would have up. The next thing is this basement. Obviously you're gonna have an enchantment area, and then I went ahead and put all the books in the chests. They're empty right now, but I labeled them all. Same thing on this side. And then we also have our enchantment area with a grindstone and a bunch of anvils. That concludes the library. Let's move on to the next one. I decided I want to make path blocks for my western town because that kind of seems fitting. And I thought you had put regular dirt down, but apparently you can make a path block with coarse dirt. I started to build my new building, which was going to be the bank, but I didn't realize that my mic got unplugged, so there's no commentary. It's just going to be me narrating. I was placing down blocks, failing MLGs, and believe it or not, placing down more blocks. I built a little area for the clerks to hide in. And then I built a second floor. I gave it a roof. I googled what a western bank looks like. I gave it some windows. And then I built the sign. I added this trim around the top because I thought it kind of tied the build together. Did some decorating. And apparently I didn't realize my mic was unplugged for this portion of the video either. So here's my recreation of what I'm assuming I'm saying. Well, now the villagers can't get out. So here is the back portion. I added a little decor, some candles. They don't work because I don't know why. I lit them, but they're not working. There's some iron, and then you go upstairs, and this is where the chests are. This is where all the stuff I'm going to be trading is. I needed some more of the glow ink sacks. I also need one more thing here. I don't know what to put there. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Dr. Tendrils, what about the emeralds? What are you going to do about that? Well, psych! I thought about that too. Secret door. Emeralds. I built the smith, but also forgot to press record. And my microphone was still off. So here's my rendition of it. Here's my smith. Looks pretty fancy. I got all the flooring, and it's all broken up. Kind of make it look without a pattern. And then I added like a little crane thing. I don't know what to call it. Go inside, and then there's just the one bed. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did something with the smith that I didn't show. There are 3 beds now. Pretty sure. I then began work on my sheriff station, but wouldn't you know it, I still hadn't fixed my microphone. I built the walls up, built the floor, I built the sheriff his office, and then stared out this window for some reason. I don't know why. And then I gave him a book so it could keep detailed records about the criminals. I had some blocks go invisible on me. And then I made some jail cells. I dabbled with interior design. Built an awning. Made the banners for the sheriff's office. And then I put them up. And then the sheriff's office was done. Kind of. I'm starting to think my microphone was unplugged for this entire recording. Anyway, I built the tailor, and yes, I know I spelled it wrong. I fixed it later. So there's my little porch. Come in here, got all the fancy boots and pants and shirts and hats. Then you also have some diamond armor, some iron horse armor, whatever else, saddles. Just some stuff that a leather worker would work on. Oh, I forgot to put a cauldron down. Then we come upstairs to where the leather worker lives. Nice and fancy, like always. So beautiful. Anyway, that's the tour of the leather shop and his little house. Now, obviously, since this is a Western type build, I'm gonna need a saloon. So that's exactly what I started to do. And it took me a minute to figure out this front part, but eventually I got it figured out. And I built this balcony so that way when a bar fight breaks out, they can push each other over they can have a great view from up above. I built an area that would act as a bar for the clerics. I added some railing on the balcony so that way you can push stay safe. I finished building the main structure of the saloon. I added some tables and chairs. I wanted to make a piano, so I used looms, and then I added a little bit more design. I got the saloon done, so let me take you on a walkthrough. I added barrels instead of chairs, so that way you can stand out with your buddies, or stab each other. So that's the front. I pretty much just did the same on that side, but I finally figured out what I wanted to do with the front. But if we come in here, this is the finished saloon. You got the tables, you got the chairs. Then I also added some potions and some item frames to make it look like wall decorations. And this is where the clerics are going to be standing. Once they're in, they won't be able to get out when I add some more stuff. And then I also added like a furnace because I kind of thought it would be cool when I used that mud brick around it. And then there's my finished piano. I also added like a dartboard. And since Minecraft doesn't have cow skulls, I just used a dragon head instead. And then the upstairs is pretty much the same as the rest of it. I also remembered that I'm probably going to need an alcohol permit. The next building I built was the hotel. This is just providing extra beds for around the village. I also built a wagon for a decoration around the village. And then this wandering trader spawned, which if you think about it, it's pretty fitting with the wagon. So here's the lobby. Nothing really special. Pretty much all the rooms are the same. These are, on the first floor are going to be a single bunk. And if we go up top, we have 2 beds now, so we're upgrading. And then here is our suite. And that wraps up the hotel. The next thing I built was a feed and/or barn. I also built another wagon within the barn, added a horse. Then if you go inside the feed store, I have all of the stuff that you would need to breed animals and also plant stuff. I tried to fill every barrel with the seeds that I could, and eventually I did, but I don't think I recorded it. When you think of the wild, wild west, what do you think of? Cowboys, guns, and of course, trains. I used anvils to act as the rails for my railroad, and let me tell you, it used a lot of iron. I was doing some research on how to make my iron farm faster, and this iron golem got stuck by his nose on this sand pillar that I built. And the railroad did have to end, so I made some Wile E. Coyote tunnels. Alright, so here's the engine. Got the front, got the cow pusher, whatever they're called. I added some ladders to add some design to it. When you come up here, you got a bunch of levers and buttons and everything you can push that don't do anything. I added like a blast furnace to act as the furnace. I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. Then once you come in here, this is a passenger car that's connected to the rail stop. Come in here, you got some seats, nice and neat. Up here you can put your luggage, first class. And back here I thought I made a pretty good use of the new mangrove wood. It kind of looks like a red boxcar, so that was my intention. Just some cargo. And then you can kind of see below that I added the grindstones to act as wheels. I went over to these pillagers over here so that way I could start to break their crossbows so they couldn't shoot anybody. I splashed them with an instant health potion so that way if they shoot me, my thorns wouldn't kill them. And I think it was about 25 minutes of just standing there with my shield until the first crossbow broke. And on the next shot, his bow broke too. I pushed him over to the prison with some water, and then I put him in the prison. I was just admiring my build from up above, and man, this is so cool. It's probably the best build I've ever made, so make sure to like and subscribe to see more. Haha, shameless plug. I wanted a little bit more decor in my build, so I built a water tower, and I added like a little pipe. And what's really cool is if you go up the ladder, it has like a little porch area, which is what you'd think a water tower would have. But then Yeah, you can't see it. You can't see the water dripping, but there's water in there. Trust me. The next thing I built was a general store. Come in here, you got everything that you think you're gonna need. You got some vegetables, and I did fill up every single barrel with a random amount. And I thought this was really cool. I added poisonous potatoes to the potatoes to make it look like some went bad. Got some fruits on this side. Just have some tools, then some rare items on the bench right there. Some more behind the counter, some baking goods or baking supplies, and some goods, baked goods. Up here you got the butcher and the fisherman. So we're gonna have a lot of meat and a lot of animal products. Put them on ice so they wouldn't go bad. And then again, I filled all these barrels up too. And I kind of did it in the amount of rarity it was. So if you think of like a rabbit's foot, then those are rarer. The next thing I built was a gun store, because you can't have a western town without a gun store. But since there are no guns in Minecraft, I just used bows. Then we can go up here, and this is where the Fletcher is going to be living. So we got some bows, some arrows, just some candles, some nice decorations for him. Yeah, I think this is really coming together. The next thing I wanted to build was a cave for the stonemason. So I started to destroy all the terracotta that I put up. And then I put it right back. I ran out of terracotta, so I went back to the Badlands to get more. I finished that up, so I began to dig the cave. I began to design the floor. And then I replaced the walls with stone. I added iron bars around the cave to make it look like a fence. Then I put cobwebs around it to make it look like barbed wire. Once that was done, I built him a little house. And then I spruced her up a bit. And then I began work on the gallows. And I don't know what happened, but I lost my pickaxe. I can't find it anywhere, so I just made myself a new one. And then I ran out of recording space, so you don't get to see me make it. I also disenchanted my pants so I can get rid of that swift sneak. And from here on out, my mic actually started to work. Well, if my mic hasn't been working, it is now. I don't know how long that took. The next step of the process is to decorate, get all that done. So I have some dead bushes, some more sand, because I want to raise that up, because I don't want it to just be flat. And then I'm going to do some other things, so let's start doing that. I dabbled in a bit of landscaping, and we'll expand this out just a little bit. And then I'll take some of this cobblestone, because you know I'm not going to fill this all with sand. And then we'll cover it up with some sand. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side with the red sand. And then I'm going to go around placing these spruce logs in an assortment kind of like this. And then I'll place some railroad tracks over it so it kind of looks like it's tied down to the ground. It's a pretty well-known build design, but it's a pretty cool one. And the next thing that needed to be complete was some more dead bushes around here to liven up the place, I guess. Okay, got the decorations done. This is the smith area that I was talking about with 3 beds. This is the living room now. But yeah, I got the decorations done. I added a bunch of lanterns around to help decrease the amount of mobs that were spawning. So yeah, the building portion of this build is done. I think it's pretty freaking awesome, if I gotta say so myself. I think this is probably one of the coolest builds I've ever done. Oh, it's just freaking awesome. Like, look, the sand looks so much better now. The next step, and the most annoying step, is to get all of these villagers over here and get them into the place that they need to go. I then began construction on the railroad. I think this iron golem doesn't want me to take them, but I reassured him that I will take him too, and I'm going to name him Iron Giant. Then I began construction on the railroad. I tried to use detector rails in combination with the powered rails, but it didn't really work out and the villagers just kept getting stuck. I got my rail system done, but now it was time to idiot-proof the area where they're going to be dropping into. Like right here, a villager would totally do that. Then I tested it to make sure the villagers weren't going to die. Oh, my pizza rolls are done! Now we're going to get into the minecart. We're going to not do that. We're going to not slide backwards because that's not good for your health. Okay. And he's off. And I began to push more villagers to their new home. And then I also fixed some of the powered rails. Like I said, the detector rails weren't working too well. And then this happened.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand. I cannot believe that just happened. Well, they were clerics, I guess. And cleric and archer, it wasn't one of my librarians. That's still dumb.
Then I only started sending 2 at a time so they wouldn't bounce off each other like that. And Carl was sent last because he wouldn't stop complaining. And then I bred the villagers. Get it? Breaded? Ha! Then I brought Iron Giant over to the villagers. And for some reason they didn't really want to breed, so I added a bunch of doors and a bunch of workstations, and then it seemed to work. The next thing I did was bring the villagers to their assigned locations. And let me tell you, these guys did not want to cooperate whatsoever. So eventually I just started using a water bucket to push them where I needed to go. And eventually I get them in. And I converted Carl into a zombie villager because I wanted cheap name tags. I healed them up. And then I labeled each villager to correspond with what book they had. So I did do a few things since then, just kind of minor details while I was waiting on the villagers to grow up. I added some lightning rods to make sure nothing would, burn down. I anointed myself a sheriff. And I even got him a horse. Also, I decided I really hated the reed thing, so I just replaced it with a map of the area, and I think it looks a million times better. And as for the areas that weren't filled, that's just going to be for more enchantments. If they do add more, I don't know if they will, but, I have the space. And these 3 right here are just regular villagers that I can trade paper with, so we'll see what they do. The last thing, and the most important thing, that this build requires is the removal of the old villager trading hall. And for some reason this wolf was mad at me, so I just lit it on fire.